Hello everyone, my name is Hunter Ross, and I'm going to present you people of the Renaissance with my pick, Michelangelo. Slide 2 begins with a fun fact. The TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, quite an alliteration right there, they were named after famous artists from different Renaissance eras, primarily the High Renaissance. You got Leonardo, the leader of the group, Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, Donatello, sculptor, and Michelangelo. And I just realized I misspelled Michelangelo. It's supposed to be Michelangelo. I added an extra A. It's a little typo. Slide 3 talks about the geographics and origin. Michelangelo was born in Caprice, Italy on March 6, 1475, in his home Casa Buonarroti, also known as Michael's home. This would put Michelangelo as part of the High Renaissance. Yep, we're slide 4 now. Now we go into the High Renaissance. We'll talk about the High Renaissance in Italy. The High Renaissance saw increased innovation for artistic achievement. This era was the foundation of what art was to become and is still viewed upon today. So you go into it, you most likely will see art in a museum nowadays. Even, I'm pretty sure at art around here, local, they have art similar to what they found or that was made back in that area. It was very revolutionary. And the few pictures I know I added the Last Supper on the slide, and I know that's from Leonardo da Vinci. However, I feel like that his works were a little similar. His paintings were similar to Leonardo da Vinci because it actually goes in my next slide. Michelangelo's influence. Michelangelo, his art style, very realistic, had a lot of realism, and it conveyed emotion. It's like you were looking at a movie scene or a cartoon. And he also was the gateway for future artists. I had a little fun fact, such as Shakespeare and Edgar Allan Poe, because Edgar Allan Poe and Shakespeare, similarly, they wrote, but they also conveyed emotion. It was almost like you were in there. And if you look at his paintings, it's like you're almost in there as well. It's just it's a cool psychological aspect I found, personally. The book pertains a brief synopsis of Michelangelo's influences. I already talked about that. And of course, throughout the PowerPoint, you'll see different paintings and similar art styles that Michelangelo made that I'll add on there. Slide 6 talk about his cultural impact, and yeah, he's had quite an impact throughout the last 500 years. Media and television. There's a couple slides. Obviously, I've used Michelangelo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a lot. It's because it's not that it's a coincidence. It's the actual reason why he was named that. There's a SpongeBob episode I added, and there's a movie called The Agony and the Ecstasy. Now, I've never watched this movie, but I know that Michelangelo is portrayed in it. The actor, not he's not alive. This was in 1953, I'm pretty sure. And that's all I have. I have one more fact. Back to slide 3. I got a little off track. So, the origin of David. It was initially intended, I didn't add this in the PowerPoint, just a fun fact I found. It was intentionally going to be used for the buttresses for the Cathedral of Florence. Back in Unit 2, we talked about the unique arches and shapes they made for the buildings. Well, the stone made for it was actually made into David. So it's pretty cool. It's a lot, So when you see David nowadays in the museum, it's, just should remind you of the buttresses of Florence Cathedral. So that's pretty cool. I have my works cited on slide 7 and image sources on slide 8. Thank you very much.